Welcome, everybody, to the Jim Master Show, live, beaming all across the globe, right from the United States and the greater New York City area. Tichina Vaughn is in the house. Well, actually, she's in her house. She's coming to us live from Dresden, Germany. She is one of the most sought after mezzo-sopranos in opera right now, an acclaimed mezzo-soprano. She's extraordinary, originally from the United States. Actually, she hails from North Carolina, USA, but she makes her home in Germany right now. She's going to join us live from Germany, where it's about 2 a.m. It's 8 p.m. Eastern live right now. We're doing the show live, of course. And it's 5 p.m. out on the West Coast in the Pacific. But for her, it's 2 a.m. What a trooper she is. She said she's a night owl. I guess she is. She's extraordinary, breathtaking voice, extraordinary talent. And we're going to be talking about so much. But also, in addition to that, we have some incredible music for all of you to enjoy as well. You're going to hear her do some incredible things for us here on the show. Again, she's coming in from Dresden, Germany. This is a JMS exclusive, and we're so very, very happy to have her here. Matter of fact, another wonderful guest who was on our show, good friend, photographer Jeffrey Hornstein in New York, put us together and recommended our show to Tichina, and Tichina's been watching. She's a fan of what we do here, and we absolutely love that. These photos you're seeing are just some of the incredible things. I mean, Aida and so much more. Porgy and Bess, Aida, you name it, she's been a part of it. We're going to go over it all. We're going to talk about all the incredible performances, of course, with Metropolitan Opera, Seattle, I mean, all over the globe, literally. And we're very excited to have her here because, again, when you hear her do her thing, the roof comes off. She really is extraordinary. Very excited to have her here. I want to tell you a little bit about her incredible background. She was raised in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Mezzo-soprano Tichina Vaughn has built a standout international reputation while maintaining strong ties to her home state. Her formal vocal study began shortly after high school at Georgia State University, but her early years were steeped in musical activity, studying clarinet, playing in marching and concert bands, and singing as a choir member and soloist. Tichina received her bachelor's degree in vocal performance from the University of North Carolina School of Arts in 1989, and even before graduation, her unmistakable voice drew attention from some of the world's foremost opera houses. And after winning the 1989 Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions, she joined the Met's Young Artist Development Program and made her stage debut there as Lily in the Gershwins Porgy and Bess in 1990, which is absolutely extraordinary. And in addition to all that, that's just the short list, folks. Her first leading role on a major opera stage was for the Seattle Opera's production of Verdi's Aida, and arrived just 2 years later in 1992. Her interpretation sparked immediate attention from the opera community, and invitations to reprise the role began to pour in from companies all around the globe. And soon she was recognized as an emerging Verdian mezzo-soprano, regularly taking on leading roles as Princess Eboli in Don Carlos and the mezzo-soprano soloist in Verdi's Requiem throughout the early 1990s. In 96, she also made her European debut, and again, she's coming to us from Germany today, as Mistress Quickly at the Staatstheater Stuttgart's production of Falstaff, in which she marked the beginning of both her long relationship with the company and her robust European career. From 98 to 2006, she continued to perform with the theater as a principal artist, eventually earning a wonderful distinction, German honorific title for the opera singers of the highest merit. Throughout her years in Stuttgart, Tichina's list of signature roles blossomed, and her aptitude for the works of Wagner became evident, culminating with her appearances in many, many more productions. Now one of opera's most sought-after mezzo-sopranos, she is quite literally performed around the globe with previous engagements on international stages, including the National Opera Hong Kong, the Greek National Opera, Budapest National Opera, Hamburg Opera, Opera Graz, and countless others. And she's made numerous appearances in summer festivals in Italy, as well as was engaged as a principal artist in Dresden, Germany, as well. In addition to her 1989 Metropolitan Opera National Council Auditions Award, she's the recipient of the Opera Index Vocal Award, Living Heritage Foundation Award, the Consul General's Award for Cultural Diplomacy from the Consulate General Milan, and many other prestigious accolades. Just as her voice sets her apart from her peers, another personal strength is clear in everything that she does. Her infectious, positive spirit and enthusiasm are on display all the time. She also teaches as well, and she's taught over the years, which I think is a beautiful thing to do, to give back and to inspire others. This is a real treat to have her here again, especially at 2 a.m. in the morning, coming to us from Germany. Maybe you've seen her perform. Maybe you've heard about her. She is, again, one of the greats, and we are so honored to have her here on the show. She's very humble, too, about it all. She just loves doing what she does, and she does it so extraordinarily well. We are very, very honored to have her here on the show. She also has a great sense of humor. She and I were laughing up a storm just before we went live, and we're so excited to have her here. So put your hands together, gang. We have Tichina Vaughn here, acclaimed mezzo-soprano, coming to us live at 2 o'clock in the morning, her time, from Germany. And we're so excited to have her here. And I see a lot of comments that are built up, everybody. So make sure, if you'd like to comment during the show, everybody, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, so you can comment in our exclusive JMS Live chat room, which is open. It's available right now. Just click that red subscribe button. It's easy to do. It's that button that looks like this. It's on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the notification bell. And when you do, you can chat right now with us live in our JMS chat room, or you can leave a comment on our YouTube channel as well. And there she is, opera star, mezzo-soprano, Tichina Vaughn from Dresden, Germany. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. So lovely to be here.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. You're looking very spry and chipper at 2 a.m. your time.
I told you, I'm a night owl.
Yes, you are. Well, I'm so happy to have you here and so honored to have you here on the Jim Masters Show live. And you've been watching our show. You found out about our series, and you were so kind to say, I'd like to come on as a guest. And I appreciate that. And you've, I guess, been hearing some good things from a few people about what we do here, huh? And all our levity.
Well, I have to say, anybody who's talked to Tony Orlando is a friend of mine.
Oh, Tony, yes.
Yeah, I grew up on all that. The yellow ribbon around the old oak tree. And when I watched that, I was like, yes, I want to talk to that guy.
Tony Orlando. And then we had John Davidson on, and he was coming from his fabulous venue in New Hampshire, Club Sandwich. And he's got a swing that's inside the venue. And he was actually singing songs as he was on the swing inside his entertainment venue. It was a lot of fun.
Amazing. Amazing. No, I'm really honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. So you've been in Germany quite a while now, right? A number of years you've made Germany now your home.
Yeah, more than 20 years. Quite by accident. It was never my plan. But it is a wonderful way that things worked out.
Yeah. So what initially brought you to Germany? Because again, you grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. And I often say, had you asked me if that's what I was going to do, I would have said, of course not, you know. But the real deal is that at the time that I came to Germany, for an operatic artist, it was sort of a paradise because you had the opportunity to attach yourself to a theater, work in that theater, learn your craft and the roles that were right for you. But the difference being that in Germany and German speaking countries, opera is still a state supported endeavor. So you work for the government in that you have a guaranteed salary, a guaranteed retirement, and healthcare, and all that type of things. And so, yeah, I came with a 3-year contract in 1996. And the way it goes is if at the end of your contract period, if there's an indication that they want you to stay, then it can be renegotiated. So it ended up that my 3-year contract in Stuttgart became a 10-year contract just through the process of renegotiation.
Wow, that's amazing, huh? Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
And your kids as well came over.
Well, that
Everybody came over. Yeah.
that was the main thing for me is that when I got the first job there in Stuttgart, I think my son was about 3 or 4, and up until then we had sort of traveled. He had more frequent flyer miles than many adults by the time he was 3 or 4 years old, because that's opera singing, freelance in America. And so when I got here, that was a big draw in that there were lots of families. It was more family oriented. You didn't have to travel. You could be at home with your children and raise them, but yet work in the theater, be respected, and continue to hone your craft.
So, growing up in North Carolina, USA, for you, what were some of the early influences? Were there members of the family that were playing opera when you were a kid, and classical music? What sort of turned you on? Were you watching it on television, watching the Met performances? Were you a PBS pledge subscriber? I mean,
I wish it was any of that. It was absolutely none of that. I grew up in a very, normal African American household where, I sang in the Tots Choir in the Shiloh Baptist Church in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and then in the youth choir. And there was no classical music at all. I mean, my whole family thought I was going to be maybe the next Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, but never Leontine Price. That never came into question. That was all through my mother sent me to Performing Arts High School because I always sang, and the instructor there had an ear for voices and talent and theater, and he steered me in the direction of opera.
so what were some of the first tastes of opera that you had that really started to come your way? And when you started to be, they were steering you in that direction, did you fall in love with it right away?
I did not. I did not. Well, and you have to consider the fact that I was also a Southern girl, and by this time, my mother worked for an airline, so she had been transferred by this time to Atlanta. So I did my high school years in Atlanta, and there was a performing arts high school, and the director who was steering me in this direction was a very Southern Atlantan Georgian himself, Mr. William Dinsmore, may he rest in peace. In every case, though, his whole concept was in my senior year of high school, he taught me 2 classical pieces. Because before that, he had a touring show where I did Dreamgirls, The Wiz,
Right.
Pippin, things like that.
Yeah.
And now he wanted to prepare me for these university auditions. So he taught me 2 classical pieces, which were Stri della Vampa from Il Trovatore and O Rest in the Lord from Mendelssohn's Elijah. But the thing about the Stri della Vampa was he was also quite Southern and not Italian. And so he was teaching me like Stri della Vampa, which is the most Georgian Italian you could probably, But it worked. He taught me these 2 pieces, and then he took me around to, I think we auditioned for 4 schools, Cincinnati, Georgia State, and a couple of more. But it ended up that Georgia State gave me the first scholarship. And so I ended up doing my freshman year at Georgia State. But I was lost because I didn't understand classical music. I didn't understand the language. I didn't really read music. And so it ended up that I didn't really want to continue because I had already done musical theater and could do that. But fortunately, I ended up transferring to the North Carolina School of the Arts in my hometown of Winston-Salem. And there I was able to really focus and get a handle on, what classical and learning to sing was really about.
And what did you learn? What did you find that singing was really all about? What were some of the things that you learned early on?
Well, I had this, the thing about me in particular was I had this voice, which was, as it turns out, now 20 some years later, was ideally made for opera, but I didn't know anything about opera and how to use it that way.
Right.
And so for me, there was this huge difference between, for example, singing a hymn at church or a pop song on the radio and singing what my teacher in university was asking me to sing. Interestingly enough, I just had a conversation with this about a friend of mine, how in our early days, people would say, why are you singing so hard? Because as opposed to, how you might sing lullaby and good night, then people would say, okay, you're going to sing opera. So you go lullaby and good night, because it was opera. That was this caricature that you had in your head,
Yeah.
And so I think the most important thing of those early years was learning not to do that, to think of opera as just another form of vocal expression, as opposed to this huge art form that you had to fill these huge houses with. So you had to do this, inordinate amount of activity to produce sound.
So that's terrific that you were able to sort of figure that out, and it's not always going to be so over the top, dramatic, stereotypical the way it's presented, or in the other direction. You find your own. There's a certain style, but and certain formatics to it and methodologies, but you find your own unique voice within that world, right? And when did you realize you found your voice? Did you find your voice before others did, or did others find that voice in advance of you realizing that voice was there?
Definitely, I think it was the second, the latter. I remember in my junior year of university, as I said, I had always sang, and I thought I could sing okay, but I wasn't really sure about the opera thing. And my voice teacher used to take us to a lot of competitions, Nats and things like that, so we could measure ourselves. And I remember that junior year we went to Nats, and I got sort of okay marks. And then I decided I would go to New York and do auditions for young artist programs. And I did maybe 3, 4 of them, and not one of them was interested. I didn't get one positive result. And in my senior year, suddenly I went to Nats. I had different repertoire, and suddenly I got amazing marks, 98, 99, And I thought, okay, either I found something I can really sing, or I'm getting the hang of this thing, And from that, I gained more confidence, and I did the Met competition, my senior year of university. I decided, it's all or nothing, so I'm going to do this Met competition and see where I stand in this world. And I ended up being a winner and getting accepted into the program. So that was all the proper path.
And what was the program like for you when you're in that program? I would imagine it's got to be very, very focused and very intense.
Well, it was all so new for me. I mean, here I was, this Southern girl, my first time living anywhere out of the South, and it happened to be New York City. And, it was one of those situations where the first day I, drove all the way from North Carolina in my little red Dodge Colt, and I arrived in New York and parked my car somewhere that I shouldn't have, and, went to, I don't know, tell the people, here I am at the Met, and of course, I went in, I got all the information, and I came back out, and my car wasn't there. It was really just that really typical
like
Southern,
a movie. It's like a movie.
And I came out, and I'm going, oh my God, my first day in New York, and somebody stole my car.
It's like the movies. It's like my mother told me.
And so this like doorman, at this building goes, he finally points to this sign, which obviously says, no parking or you're going to get towed. So ended up that my car had only been towed. It hadn't been, but it was like, initiation, like dump her in. Let's get the.
If she can survive this, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
But so there was just a lot of wide-eyed uncertainty and sort of the process of learning what it was all about when I got there in the very beginning. Yes.
So here you are in the big city and taking a bite out of that apple. What was one of the big early opportunities that did come your way that made a big difference, sort of accelerated things for you, Tichina?
Well, that would have to be, the possibility to make my Met debut. I mean, that was my very first season at the Met. And I had sang one of the arias from Porgy and Bess as one of the arias in the competition. And obviously I didn't normally do that leading role, but there was a smaller role that they saw that thought I was fit to do. And really that changed the entire trajectory of where I'm sure it did. I mean, I can't say because it didn't happen the other way. I don't have facts to say if I didn't do that, this would have been that. But in my opinion, I mean, when you're that young and you're that fresh and you jump into that arena that big and successfully so, yeah. I'm still living a career from the fumes of just that event.
I was going to say, having that opportunity, were you pinching yourself? I mean, when you were calling home and telling the family back home in North Carolina, it must have been a pinch me moment for you, huh?
No, they were all in New York. They were all there.
They made sure they came.
They were all there. They were all there. But it really was, and it's funny. I was telling the story because before making the debut, so I did the competition, and it was really just a fantasy thing to even win this competition. You have to understand it was just beyond belief that, here I was, I hadn't even gotten my bachelor's. Let's say the competition was in April and the graduation was in June, so I still hadn't even really finished, but here I was and I won this competition. And so my voice teacher had made his plans, obviously. When you win the competition, well, at that time, I'm not sure how it is these days, there's a big concert of all the winners at a certain point. And so obviously all your friends and family and everybody come, in town for this concert. And I was just telling somebody something, we were reminiscing about my voice teacher, who he's also no longer with us, may he rest in peace. But that night I had him picked up from the airport in a limousine. Yeah, so we ordered a limousine, would stand there, with the name and everything, just because we were just on cloud nine. Like, I really say, obviously you don't go into any competition hoping that you lose, right? But I didn't figure that my standing, I hadn't tested it yet, so this was just an overwhelming result for us, and we celebrated really royally.
And you were with the opera how long, with the Metropolitan?
4 years. So I went into the Young Artist program, and that was 3 years. And then I stayed on 1 year more as an artist. And then I began my freelance career.
So what came next for you? What was one of the next opportunities that sort of rolled your way?
Right. So I started with the Verdi, Amneris. And I picked those up right away. So there was Amneris in Seattle, Amneris in Detroit, Amneris in California, Amneris in Tulsa, lots of Verdi Requiems, lots of concerts in between. And that was about the early 90 years. And as I say, I was in the course of doing auditions. I got an audition for the theater in Stuttgart, which is where I began my German career. And it was to do the opera Falstaff and the role of Quickly, and it was just a one-off, just a job. You go over, you do it, you come back. But in the course of doing that production, because also in Europe at that time, when you did a production, you probably would do 10 performances, and then it would be scheduled to come back the next season for 8 or 9 performances. So it was a very long period, a very, how can I say, quite enough time to get to know the situation. Yeah, and so after that, I was basically gone. I'm
You
still here.
So, but you mentioned that you are going to be coming back to the States because there's some performances that are on the docket that are coming up. Before that, what was it like the last couple of years as the world had this great pause and a lot of places just sort of, pulled down the shades and locked the doors for a while? How was it there in Germany? Was it the same, or were you able to do some performances and recording or anything there?
Well, it was, as you could say, interestingly enough, when the pandemic actually happened, I was working in Vienna. And it was really from one day to the, well, not maybe not one day to the next. Let's say 2 days before the actual shutdown, we had gotten a message that, okay, rehearsal is going to be delayed today. We have to get some information from the Ministry of Health and we'll get back to you, and so, and then ended up, we went later to rehearsal that day and it was a weird atmosphere. And then the next day it was like, okay, we're not sure we're going to have rehearsal today, something like that. And then by I think it was, I can't remember the actual date, but anyway, then the next day it was like, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to continue at all. You all can pack your bags and go back to your homes because
Yeah.
the Ministry of Health has said we have to shut down completely, which was a shock. I will admit, I was shocked and in tears, because I had just begun this freelance career that I'm in now, because up until 2018, I was still, part of an ensemble here in Dresden. And it's not so easy, coming from that situation into a freelance life and making it work successfully. And it had just started to sort of click, I felt, and then it was all gone. So that was shocking. And yeah, and then I had to figure out how to, where to go, what to do. But in the long run, I will say that Germany was really, for the most part, took care of the artists as they could. We had to fight for it, but and I participated in some demonstrations about artists getting the same aid that Lufthansa was getting, or a certain type of aid. But in the end, and we were able to do, as a matter of fact, I'm going to produce a series about it in a while. We were able to do a Porgy and Bess in Vienna later in the pandemic, which I said I was going to call Porgy and a Pandemic. Um, but yeah, it was a scary and unsure time, I think, for everyone. But also, I'm just from those people who taught you try to find the silver lining in everything. And I will
Yes.
say what was great about it was that we did have time to focus more on our humanity and on our human
Yes.
relationships. And I enjoyed that.
Absolutely. What are some things you learned along the way about Tichina? Some teachable moments, some things as you had time to reflect and sort of reminisce, reboot, refresh, maybe reframe, because a lot of people also have used this time to look forward as far as what they want to do with their lives going forward, and look back and sort of appreciate the things that have happened thus far. And a lot of people have made sort of changes and have gone down different roads. They're sort of realigning themselves to take on different things in their lives. How about for you?
I think that all in all, the entire experience of, I call it being a survivor, surviving a pandemic, has just made me more, because I'm a person of faith. And it just made me, brought home much clearer to me the point that we don't have any control, really. I always, if you subscribe to any faith, that's one of the tenets of most belief systems. But yeah, the real deal is that we make all these plans, we work really hard, we do all these things, but just something completely outside of our control at any moment can derail all of that. And if you invest too heavily in that, that's what causes depression. That's what causes, all the negative things. But if you just accept the lesson that, you're really not in control. You have a measured control over when you stand up, when you sit down. Most of us healthy people do. But there are lots of things that you're not in control of, and that you can just go with the flow. Here's the lesson. What was it Bruce Lee said? Be like the water. Be water.
Right, exactly. Keep flowing, keep going. Yeah. That's it.
Water.
That's it, exactly. And learn to float when you have to.
Right, right.
So, when you look at this iconic career that continues to blossom and grow and extend itself in such a beautiful way, what are some moments? I mean, I mentioned a lot in the introduction, but what are some key moments for you that really stand out as some of your personal favorites? It could have been the moment, it could have been the location, it could have been the work itself, the production. What are some key ones for Tichina that really are some of your personal favorites?
Well, I have to say, I sang many years in the Arena di Verona, as you showed some pictures of that earlier. And I hope, I know all of my colleagues who have had the experience, but it's something that I wish for everyone, whether you are on the side of watching a performance there or engaged in a performance there, because both sides of that space are just magical. In the times when I used to sing there, it's when, because the place can seat 25,000, I think 25,000 people. And sometimes when it was really full, imagine each one of those people hold a candle. And you're on stage and you look out and you see just this sea of tiny lights. It's just and it's open air, but not because it's an arena. And then from the other side, if you're in the audience and you're watching the type of spectacles that happen there, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like, we're in this phase in the opera world where we need freshness in it, because we don't want the art form itself to, suffer from being sort of museum-like. Right. But at the same time, for me, there's still something about, the grandeur and the elegance of an old-fashioned big costume, horses ride on stage, and, crazy all-out opera. That is it, So I had that a lot in Verona in different productions. And I would say that's one of the real highlights of my life, having had the opportunity to perform there often. Yeah.
And, you say you've been to all of these other places too, in parts of the world. Are there places that you would love to travel to and perform that you haven't as of yet, Tichina?
There are, interestingly enough. I really have not explored enough the Benelux. Luxembourg. So far I've had only Amsterdam, Dutch National Opera, as far as in that region, and Finland. I was in Finland as well. But for example, Norway, Sweden, those are all places that I want to see. And I'm so grateful, because the real deal is there's so many places in my own country that I have not yet had the opportunity to discover. So in a week or so, I'll be taking off for Cincinnati, Ohio, where I've also never been, to do a production. And later on in the new season, I'll be going to Salt Lake City, Utah, where I've also never been. So yeah, there are plenty of points, interestingly enough, on the map. Also Dubai, that way I've never been. So yeah, plenty of places I still want to go perform and explore.
That's fantastic. And you shall, I am very, very sure, with your extraordinary voice and your passion for the arts. I have a couple of things that I want to show. There's one here. Now, I want her to say it because it rolls. We were practicing beforehand. It rolls so beautifully off. I'm going to trigger her with a couple of behind the scenes phrases, and she'll know exactly what I'm talking about. We have some fabulous videos of her performing, because it is like 2:30 in the morning where she is there in Germany. Is it like a quiet house, people sleeping right now where you are?
Well, they have these rules, but technically speaking, I have to say, I thought we might be in luck because there was a party outside the window.
Oh, there was.
They've shut down now, though.
Well, they shut down because they're all at home watching you on the Jim Masters show. They're in their houses watching.
Yes,
That's why
that's
they shut
right.
down. Uh, thanks for doing the PR in Germany for us. You're the best. I love it. You are a lovety. You're a definite lovety. I was telling her about the whole lovety scenario here on the Jim Masters Show live, gang, and she said I absolutely love that whole vibe of lovety. So,
Love
she,
it.
isn't that cool? So now this one we have the trimmed trailer. So tell us about this one.
Okay, that is Il Prigioniero. It's an opera by Luigi Dalla Piccola. And it's a very interesting, a rather modern opera. And it's the story of the characters are named the mother and the prisoner and the jailer. And it's the story of a prisoner who is imprisoned in a jail, and he has this hallucination. His mother comes to visit him and kiss him for the last time. And the trick of the opera is that the hallucination is not sure, does he escape or does he not?
And where was this particular the version we're going to show? Where was that performed?
It was performed in the Semper Opera Dresden here in the city in 2018.
All right, let's take a look at that, folks. It's absolutely extraordinary. Our very special guest live coming to us direct from Europe and from Dresden, Germany, Tichina Vaughn, opera star and one of the most sought after mezzo-sopranos of our time right now, sitting in that chair, talking to all of us. Very cool. At 2:30 in the morning. Can somebody get her a coffee, please? Here we go. Enjoy, gang, and we'll be back.
Bei Dalla Piccola, bei Prigioniero, also es ist absolut streng nach Form, nach Gehirn komponiert, aber jeder Moment ist reines Herz.
Wow.
It's a crazy piece now. Yeah.
Oh,
and that
boy.
production was also very much hallucinogenic.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It has that feeling. It has that vibe already. Just
Yeah.
in seeing that clip. We have another one here too that we want to share. Now this one is this Il Trattatore?
Il Trovatore,
Oh, I love the way you say that.
which is the troubadour. It's the story of a singing troubadour.
Very nice. All right, gang. Enjoy this one with the incomparable Tichina Vaughn here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Wow. What a great clip that is, too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everybody from around the world here on our broadcast are commenting. Jane is watching. You mentioned Sweden. She's watching in Sweden. Lots of claps and hearts. What a wonderful voice coming from
Thank
Jane in Sweden.
you.
Merlin in Ontario, Canada. Standing ovation, hearts and claps. Christine
Thank
Clifton
you.
in Christine is from North Carolina. Brava, gorgeous voice, claps and hearts. Mona is from Louisiana, New Orleans. She says, beautiful voice. Joan Sandow says, bravo. Sherry in Kansas, USA. What a fabulous voice. Jane says, wow. Brava again from Merlin. Beautiful voice from
Thank
Nikki.
you.
Claps from Linda. And
wow.
that
Thank
is
you
just a
guys
few.
so much. Wow. I appreciate it. I appreciate
Jones
it.
says, thank you for sharing your voice on the Jim Masters Show for all of us to enjoy. Well, folks, we have more for you here, actually, courtesy of the wonderful Tichina Vaughn joining us here. Now, this is the one, I believe this is the Gospel of Grace with you and Ellen. Tell us about this spectacular one as well, Tichina.
Let me tell you, that was an evening. So I think it was about 2015, there was a group, let's say right-wing groups started to demonstrate and protest in the city of Dresden. And the city of Dresden wanted to set a sign against that. And the way the protests are here, it's every Monday. It's a Montagsdemo. Every Monday they do a demonstration for whatever cause. That's also how the Berlin Wall fell, through the Monday demonstrations. So this group called Pegida, which stands for Patriotic Europeans Against the Islamization of the Deutsche Abendland, PEGIDA, we're doing these Monday demos. And the city of Dresden decided they wanted to set a sign that Dresden was not that city. That the Pegida was not the sentiment of the majority of the people of Dresden, that it was an international, open, diverse city. And so they decided to, because of the most important or the most famous monument in the city is the Frauenkirche, the Church of Our Lady, which was completely bombed in 1945 and has been now completely rebuilt. And it sits in the center of the city of Dresden as a sign of, the rebuilding. And so they blocked off this whole plaza in front of this famous monument and created a stage. And they invited, some of the most famous German artists, Herbert Grönemeyer, really big names in German music and comedy and whatever. And from the Semper Opera, I was invited. And it was interesting because I wasn't sure what to say. I'm one of those people who have a diversity. I can do jazz. I can do some mini opera, whatever. And so they said, well, do what's on your heart, you know? And so it ended up that Ellen Rissinger is also an American from Pennsylvania. And we worked here in this house together for many years. And so we decided, we actually did two pieces. We did, since it was a concert for peace and for, freedom and living together, we did Let There Be Peace on Earth. Mm-hmm. And our second piece was the Gospel of Grace. And it was, for me, really, I felt like Whitney Houston. It was really like, yes. This huge crowd of people, and, you had the security brought you to the stage, and, it was just like, oh my God. So it was an amazing moment.
It was really a moment. It was a
really
moment.
Great. Really
well, that's the thing you mentioned too, to remind our audience. I know we're focused on opera, which you have mastered beautifully, but you can and do and have sung lots of other genres of music, not just in the opera world, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Do you like to do that? Do you have time to do that? Are you able to stray from opera and
yes,
partake in the other?
My mother actually raised me on jazz, which is interesting because I recently did this opera in Boston called Champion, an opera in jazz. And I unfortunately lost my mother last year, so she was not able. She was there with me in spirit, but she wasn't able. But I thought, wow, this is the culmination of both of us. She raised me really listening to jazz records, and then I started to study opera, and here was this combination. But I do, as a matter of fact, I was at a rehearsal this morning. I have a jazz evening coming up in September here in Dresden, which I do often. I work with the jazz organizations here in Dresden a lot, and we're creating a new program called It's All About Love. So all of the titles have love in them.
Ah, that's perfect. That's fantastic. We call that lovity around here.
I'll have to give you a clip for your audience.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And well, I was going to say too, even before we show the clip, and we have some wonderful photos to show, you've even done Christmas too, which is beautiful. Christmas at My House, right?
Yes. That's my, actually my Christmas CD, which I recorded really a long time ago. But the title track, Christmas at My House, I actually wrote.
You did. So, songwriter, is that something that is prominent within your career, or do you do it here and there as, you have time?
Well, I've always written. I started writing early, but I don't have that many producing. I only have like 3 or 4. Like there's one song on Christmas at My House, the title track I wrote. And I also wrote, it's funny, Christmas inspires me. I wrote a Christmas song for Dresden called Christmas in Dresden, which I perform with the jazz people around Dresden at Christmas time often.
Cool. That is fantastic. Well, congratulations on that. And here we go again. This is the Gospel of Grace, and it's going to be absolutely very inspiring and moving and passionate for you, gang. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you're just joining us, I'm your host, Jim Masters. You're watching the Jim Masters Show live, entertainment, lifestyle, variety talk show series. We're bringing back that lost art of conversation. Done about 700 episodes so far, which is unbelievable. And our very special guest is the incomparable mezzo-soprano coming to us from Dresden, Germany, Tichina Vaughn, by way originally of the United States, and she makes her home now in Europe, in beautiful Germany. Here is that video, folks. Enjoy, and then we'll be back with much more.
Amazing grace, how sweet grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. I found true grace, undying love, I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. Free grace, free grace, free grace, sinner. Free grace, I'm newborn again. So glad I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. I know my Savior died for me, I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. I know my Savior set me free, I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. Free grace, free grace, free grace, sinner. Free grace, I'm newborn again. So glad I'm newborn again. Been a long time talking about my trials here below. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we know less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. I'm newborn again.
Thank you for the music. Tichina Vaughn. Just bleiben Sie da einen kleinen Moment.
That is so fantastic. Like
Thank
you say,
you.
it was a spectacular moment, and the crowd, they're on their feet and cheering. That's really fantastic, huh?
It was so moving, really, really. And, the real deal was that, not all Europeans are as familiar with that song as we are. So it was a real treat to introduce some and to, get to have that moment.
It goes to show, too, your depth and scope and variety of what you can do with that voice. Powerful, soulful, really passionate as well. And it's extraordinary. And
Yeah.
who are some of the folks that inspire you that have done this kind of incredible work as well? Are there those that you've always been inspired by along the way too?
Well, as I said, I grew up on jazz, so I was first inspired by Nancy Wilson, and that developed into quite a bunch of what you might call power singers, Sandy Patty, but I went crazy over Barbra Streisand. And I remember when I first started studying classical music, I had already done like people who need people and these things. And then all of a sudden I discovered this album called Classical Barbra, which, I thought, okay, you can do it all because she's, the best top 40 pop star, movie star, musical star, but she's done classical, right? But I didn't know that in terms of the classical music world, it was her interpretation of classical and not, necessarily whatever. But so those are huge influences on me. But all of that, I have to say, fell to the wayside when I discovered Jesse Norman. I want to say one of the single most hugest influences on how my life actually turned out was the discovery of Jesse Norman.
What did that do for you? What happened when that discovery was made? What was this transformation that occurred for you?
Well, here's what had happened. So I had gotten this scholarship, and I was at Georgia State University, and I had, a really a great teacher, but we didn't really speak the same language because she came from the classical world and I had come from the musical theater world. As I said, I didn't read music. I didn't really know what the rudiments of what I needed to do. And I guess it always seemed a little bit, that my voice was a little bit beyond me, so maybe she thought I knew what to do, but I didn't. So even something as simple as she would say, well, are you spending 2 hours a day in the practice room? But I didn't know what to do in there for 2 hours. So I would go in there and I would pick out the notes and then I would practice a little bit, but that was like 45 minutes, and I was like, what do I do now? But what had happened was, so I wasn't really getting into the whole classical thing that well, because it seemed I was a little beyond me. But she sent me she assigned me songs, Lieder. In German, you call them songs Lieder. And so she assigned me these German Lieder, and they were from a composer by the name of Brahms, which at that time I couldn't even say. It's Brahms, but I would go Brahma. But anyway,
Brahms
I couldn't even pronounce it. But so she sent me, and in the old days, there was an actual library where it wasn't digital. You went to the file, you pulled out the file, you looked up the number, you got the card, and then you went and got it,
Yes.
And so up until then, just in total honesty, there hadn't been any faces of color in the assignments, and then suddenly I got this assignment for this Brahms song. I went and got it, and there was this, album even in those days, not CD, even album, with this huge, beautiful woman of color, and she was singing everything, and for me it was really like, you can maybe really do this. I looked at her picture, and then I heard her voice. You put on the headphones, and I was gone. I had to go buy the album for myself to own, which I still own, and everything else that she had ever done, and that really just
great choice.
Changed the whole thing. Changed the whole thing for me.
The whole thing. You mentioned Sandi Patty, an incredibly powerful voice as well. I've always enjoyed Sandi Patty's work. Did you ever hear her do that Star Spangled Banner?
Yes.
Oh my God, that version of
it. It's crazy.
She and Whitney Houston at the Super Bowl, I think in '92. Those two versions are iconic. But Sandy's version, if anybody should go to YouTube and type in Liberty Weekend Sandi Patty and see what they did with the video to ABC did. It was the end of that Liberty Weekend. It was celebrating the 100th birthday of the Statue of Liberty. It was an epic weekend.
It was epic.
Back in '86.
She was the perfect voice for that.
And she was in Indiana with her family, putting the kids to bed. And all of a sudden, they're watching Liberty Weekend on ABC with Barbara Walters, Peter Jennings. And all of a sudden, she hears her. Actually, I think the kids ran in and said, Mommy, I think we hear your voice on TV. She goes, what? They turn it on, and then there it is. And she didn't know they were going. And the phone lines blew up at ABC. They wanted to know who sang that version of
changed her life. I think she actually told that story on Johnny Carson.
Yes, she did. Yes, she absolutely did.
I loved her. So I followed her really, really, really closely. Yeah, because she studied opera.
Yes, right. Yes, absolutely.
And so that was also, something I could connect to.
Connection. You know who else too over in England with a very powerful voice? Shirley Bassey.
I know, right? I know. I almost put one of her songs on my list today.
Shirley Bassey, she's one of the greats. Another
still amazing,
elegant, and
And I thought that was what I was going to do. That's what my
Like
family
the
thought. I
Shirley
mean,
Bassey
really,
kind of, yeah.
I'm from the country that's such a country North Carolina family that when my mother said, hey, she's not going to go to Hollywood. She's going to go study opera. They said, the Grand Ole Opry? She's going no, not that one. Not that one.
Yes, exactly right.
So, hey.
With Minnie Pearl and all the rest.
Right,
She'd walk in and what would she say? How do?
I do.
That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah. You just never know.
You just never know. We have we selected here a spectacular version of you doing Ave Maria. Do you recall when this was?
Yes, that was I keep saying a very special occasion, but there's a very dear friend of mine, a very special person in Stuttgart, Germany, by the name of George Bailey. And George Bailey came to Stuttgart. I don't even know how old he is. And if George is watching this, I'm not going to tell. But he's over 65. And he's been, I want to say 40, maybe 50 years in Stuttgart. Now, he came in the military, and then he became and he played the piano. And he became a pianist for the ballet. And until he retired, he played. But he also, every year, did George's Christmas party. And that was a big fundraising event every Christmas in Stuttgart. And some people from the opera, from the ballet would participate, from the musical theater community. And at this particular George's Christmas party was held at the Neue Schloss in Stuttgart, Germany, is where I'm singing this Ave Maria, which is also on my Christmas CD, by the way.
It is on the Christmas CD as well. Absolutely. All right, gang, here it is. A beautiful version of Ave Maria. You can never have enough Ave Maria, and you can never have enough levity. So tonight, you got both here on the Jim Master Show Live. Here we go. Enjoy. Absolutely incredible. Wow. When you hear these, what happens? You're sort of tingling a little bit.
I have some of the best memories. I'm thinking about, first of all, we have to mention that's Lars Jonsson on piano.
Yes.
And what I was sitting here thinking about while we were singing is that when Lars is Swedish, and I was trying to, get a certain style as you that was and the irony of it is that is a Barbra Streisand arrangement of Ave Maria. Because I
It all
couldn't.
comes full circle, doesn't it?
There you go. There you go. That was the way that was the arrangement that I had to find so we could do it how I wanted to do it. And that was the closest. So I bought this arrangement of Barbra Streisand's Ave Maria, and that's what we're doing there.
I thought there was a familiar nature to it when I was hearing it, but you really did a fantastic version. I mean, show you some of these comments coming. Thank you, Tichina. Wow, from Joan, and that was amazing. And claps, and oh my God, and oh my, and smiles, and Ave Maria, crying time here. And Nikki says we are blessed this evening. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
That's what it is. Absolutely. We have some, we want to go through like a collage of some beautiful photos that we have assembled here. And maybe you can do a little narration and take us through what the viewers are seeing. We'll start with this one. Tell us about this.
Yes, this is Il Trovatore in Verona, in Arena di Verona, with the fabulous Italian tenor Marco Berti. And that's playing the character of Azucena. Poor lady. She's a gypsy who her whole life is centered on getting revenge for her mother, but she makes a mistake when she's trying to get a revenge and steals the baby, but ends up throwing her own baby in the fire, and ends up that guy is actually her son, but not her son. And I mean, it's just opera all around. Yeah. But it was an amazing production. And actually in that evening, it's one of those rare moments. This tenor was so amazing that evening, he had to sing his big aria twice.
Did he really?
Hardly ever happens anymore.
Whichever happens, right? Exactly. Yeah. What about getting into the attire, the wardrobe, the costuming? How long does that take?
Oh, yeah. Well, that takes a pretty good while for that one because there are about 8 layers. And you can imagine it's Verona, Italy, in the heat of summer. At, July, August. It's been, 90 degrees on those stones because those steps are marble, stone steps, so that the arena has sucked up all this heat all day. So, and now it's 9 o'clock at night, and you're out there hoping there's a breeze.
So it looks like they captured you basically saying it's hot as you know what in here. That's good. Oh my God, I'm baking. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. And he's like, Mom, well, what do we do?
Right. What should we do? Yeah. And of course, this classic.
Okay, now that's actually Porgy and Bess from the opera Porgy and Bess. That's Angel Blue and Eric Owens.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I was in that show, but that's not me.
No, I know that's her. But you've had an opportunity to be in that, and for quite some time too, right?
Oh yeah. And it's funny. Like I say, I started out in '90 in Porgy at the Met, and then there was a period where I didn't have very many more, and then I had this whole period where at one time Bobby McFerrin, the singer, was conducting Porgy and Bess's, and we did a whole bunch of them with him as conductor in Charlotte, in Ravinia, in New York, in DC, and then there were no more for a while. And I would say the last 5 years, I've had more Porgy and Bess in my life than I've had my entire career.
Is that amazing?
Because Matt did it again, so
that's what it is. Well, something else that obviously is very near and dear is this.
Oh, I love her. Amneris is so special. That's also Amneris at Arena di Verona, in her, bed dreaming about her warrior off at war. But the special thing about Amneris is that that was my first major role. So once I graduated the Met program, Spate Jenkins, who at the time was, the head of the Seattle Opera and a very big man in the opera world, decided to take a chance on me at a very young age in this role, and basically told me I was born for it. And I did it all those years ago, and then I did it around a few times, and then I put it down for a while. And it's just now that I'm going to have this opportunity in Cincinnati to bring it back to the States. I haven't had Amneris in the States for at least 20 years. So I'm really looking forward to doing this at the end of July in Cincinnati, Ohio.
These the wardrobes, the gowns, everything are quite extensive too, huh?
It's Verona. That's the height of Grand Opera. And the lady beside me is Daniela De Sime. She also rests in peace. She's an amazing Italian soprano that left us way too early.
Oh boy, yeah. I don't think we realized that. And
Yeah.
this one is beautiful too. And
Thank you. That's a Franco Zeffirelli production. Yeah.
look at this shot.
This one is from Seattle Opera. In I think 2014, I was there again. The last time, that was the last year of Spate Jenkins as general manager. He retired after that, and I was so happy and honored actually to get to come back. That was really another full circle for me, because my outside of young artist career started there in Seattle, and I was there too for his last. So that's the mother in the Tales of Hoffmann. But it was great. We had a wonderful time. And that was one of my, that's my original Amneris in Seattle a million years ago. Which was so funny, because you wouldn't think that's Amneris, but the concept of that production was that instead of them being Egyptian or whatever, they were Italian tourists locked in the back room of the Cairo Museum. You see, that's why she's dressed like an Italian. Yeah. And they just hallucinated all this Egyptian and Nubian love triangle thing.
That's incredible.
That was the concept,
Yeah.
That was my very first one. That's funny, yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't know where you got that picture even. That's awesome.
Yeah. Did a little digging.
Yeah. Now this one is a very interesting opera as well. It's actually an opera in the Czech language. Called Schwanda the Bagpiper. And this guy is, his name is Schwanda, and he is, sort of a everyman. He's the innocent, fool, open-hearted guy who gets tricked into going on a journey for adventure. And in this opera, I'm playing the Ice Queen. That's why she's all in silver, and this is the Ice Kingdom, and her heart has been frozen because love hasn't touched her. And he comes, wanders into the kingdom and breaks the ice, but unfortunately he's married. And so soon after this scene, his wife comes looking for him over the meadows and the fields, and of course, what does the Ice Queen say? Off with the heads! So it's a funny parody type thing, but and in the end, his magic bagpipe. How does he save the day? She says, off with their heads. They prepare for the execution, but he gets hold of his bagpipe again and starts playing, and it's like the Pied Piper. Everybody starts dancing, and so they can escape.
That's a great role.
It's wonderful.
This one too, huh?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. That's actually Waltraute in Die Götterdämmerung, in the Twilight of the Gods, in the Ring Cycle, which is the last opera in the Ring Cycle. And this is Waltraute is one of the Valkyries, and she's come down from Valhalla because her sister, who she's talking with at the table, has the ring. And the ring, because she's holding on to it, is going to mean the end of the world if it doesn't get thrown back into the Rhine River. And she's come down to tell her sister what's been going on in Valhalla, how the gods have just stopped eating the apples that keep them young. He cut down the tree of life and everything, thinking that this news will move her sister to give the ring away and throw it back in the rhyme. But unfortunately, her sister has become a woman. She's had sex, she's been touched, she's met a man, she's living a domestic life. And she tells her that, everything, this ring is more dear to me than life its very self, get out of here. It's a great role. It's a sister fight. But Wagner is just amazing. One of my favorite. I think I'm a born Verdi singer, Italian, but I love the German repertoire.
And speaking of sort of paying it forward and mentoring others and sharing, that's something that I know you love to do. You love to teach as well, right? Tell us about that.
I do. That's from the school. So this is actually, I was artist in residence at my former university, North Carolina, University of North Carolina School of the Arts. I got a chance to work with their senior fellows in their opera program. And I can't tell you, it's always so exciting because, sooner or later they get it, they make a different sound. You just make the suggestion and a light goes on, and it's like the best part of the day, and what I really love about it is I feel it's like incumbent upon us, because everything that I feel I didn't have access to or could not know how to get as a young artist, I'm very eager to give to young artists. And not to mention that when you have to focus on transferring the knowledge and skills to someone, it actually helps you as well to make sure you have consolidated and you know what you're doing, So it's a great pleasure. I really enjoy it. And I hope to have more opportunities to do it.
Absolutely. And this is a great photo too.
So this is from a fundraiser, actually, for my former university. It was an alumni fundraiser in New York, where I was performing, to help, raise funds for the school. Again. University of North Carolina School of the Arts.
Paying it forward. Love this shot too. You look very happy there. Content.
Yeah, that was when I first came to Dresden. It was a publicity shot for a recital. I was doing a recital here a solo recital here in the Semper Opera, and this wonderful photographer, Matthias Kreutzinger, who has since retired. I loved working with him. He could always I felt like he really saw me.
Absolutely, it's all in the eyes. That's what they say. Good shot always captures the eyes. We saw this too. We captured this as well. This is something special too, huh?
I'm not sure about that.
What that is? Are you a part of that, or is that something that is like a collaboration or something you're involved in?
If so, it's a collaboratory work, but I'm not sure that I'm on those two.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, because it's like you've been on everything else that there is.
Literally, I was telling someone that there's a European platform called Opera Base, which is sort of like a database of singers, conductors, and artists around the world, or whatever, managers, opera houses, everything is there. And it's been out there for some time, but recently they did a revamping of their site, and you could sign up and subscribe for a professional thing. Anyway, so I did all this, and when you do that, apparently they collate all of your statistics over some years, and apparently they must have started tabulating the statistics in 1998. So you can go in there and you can see how many roles you've done, how many performances of them you've done, and I must say, when I went in there one day, I even said to myself, "Oh my gosh, what? I forgot
what were the
about
statistics? Do you remember?"
Yeah, so there are 57 performed roles in there. And to be honest, I think I got about 150 performances, and I had to go, so I didn't finish counting them. But there's a bunch of performances in there too. Yeah. But like I say, they started tabulating in 1998, and I actually started in 1996, so there's even stuff missing.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, actually in 1990, if you count the Met years. So yeah, they started. Yeah, there's 8 years missing.
There's- I bet they'll find them.
I wish I could remember. Okay.
So what do they say back home? You know, here you are, you're in Germany, you've got this beautiful career, you have these hundreds of performances we're talking about, and you're still doing your thing in such a beautiful way. And everybody loves the sound of your voice, but also the incredible talent that you have and the poise and the ability to take on the material and really make it your own. What do they say back home? I would imagine, you know, it's got
Well,
to be
they're
like,
very proud.
they got to
Very
be,
proud. I
yeah.
have a very proud family, and you know, I remember one of the first things that I had back in the States was a concert with the Atlanta Symphony, where my family could come, and so my cousins from Atlanta, my aunts from North Carolina, everybody drove down to Atlanta, and I was with a couple of other colleagues, and after we were going to, you know, have something to drink, and my aunt kept going, "Oh my gosh, I'm around you famous people. You guys are so," and I would go, "Auntie, we are not famous." "Yes, you are." She would, "Yes, you are." And she told my colleagues too, "You guys are, please take our picture and everything." And I just think that kind of, you know, just no matter what anyone else says, you know, you are it for me. You are my family, and I love you. I can tell you, it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing, but also like the whole town, because you know my family is very rooted and connected and knitted into the fabric of the town. So you know, yeah, it's a very supportive environment, and I feel a lot of love.
That's beautiful. You have this wonderful photo up behind you on the wall or on a bureau to the left of you. Who's
Oh, this
that?
one.
Yeah, who's that?
So this is when my daughter was born, and I was singing in Stuttgart at an outdoor at an outdoor event. And I don't know if you can see, there's a moderator. She's a TV moderator, and she's speaking to a microphone. And Kiana was maybe one or two, and it was maybe one of her first public appearances. And so they pull her up on stage. Her brother is actually here, and she had been there with him. And of course, you know, as little children, she had to get on stage. And they go, "Say hi to the crowd." And there she is in all her glory. Hi.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. So
That's a
yeah, I was
beautiful
actually having
moment.
it was a jazz evening that night.
Was it a jazz evening?
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. Lots of beautiful moments in your life,
So
Tichina,
many.
and they continue in such a beautiful way. What are some of those? You just listed some there in that beautiful photo. What are some of the other blessings and joys in your life that get you to be inspired to want to continue to create and connect and collaborate and present in the beautiful way that you do?
Well, my kids are for sure. You know, I have my son Christopher. He's going to be 30 in January, and he's a songwriter and a music producer. And my daughter as well. She just turned 21 in May, and she's also a musician. She plays piano and writes some as well. But what was always most important, because I love people, you know, and I think that everybody's life is actually an amazing story, an amazing movie. I tell people that all the time. If you write it down, you'd be surprised, because what you see on screens, what you read in books, it's just someone else's story. And so what was really important for me about my kids is that they be people I like, you know, people, good people contributing no matter what they did. And and that always inspires me. People inspire me. They really do, you know. I mean, you know, what else is it really? You know, our connections are what it really is. You know, what's left when we go, it's our connections. You know, what's important to us in life for real, our connections. You know, so I'm just inspired by people and the lives that they live, and the stories that they tell, and by my faith.
Yes, that travels everywhere. Exactly right. That's very important, faith in your life, isn't it?
Very.
It's a great grounding for you. So
Yeah.
when times get a little crazy, you can also call upon it as well. which is a
Well,
beautiful,
I
beautiful
say I
thing.
grew up with a great grandmother who was, a deacon, a very, very faithful woman, and a Sunday school teacher in the Baptist church. And before this whole digital time, it used to be that the president had a red phone on his desk. I don't know if you can
Yes.
remember that.
Oh,
In the
yeah.
old days,
The
the president
president
had a
did,
red phone.
and Batman did in Gotham City.
Exactly, they had the red phone. And so if trouble happened, they just picked up the phone and things were handled. So I said that my great grandmother was such a woman of faith that she had the red phone to Jesus.
Yeah. That's really, well, that wouldn't be called the hotline, though, because that's going in that direction.
It's true.
That's the hotline the other way.
She had the cold line. But
Right.
yeah. No, faith was very, very central. And I literally grew up like 4 or 5 days a week at church.
Yeah. You have a wonderful sense of humor, too, and you have a great comedic timing about you. Do you like comedy? Do you enjoy comedic opportunities?
I do, very much so. I don't get to do enough of it, but I'm planning on doing more.
So stay tuned. She might be on a sitcom on NBC this fall.
Right? I said I'm working on a skit because, I don't know, my voice types, you get to sing a lot of mothers in opera.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, I told you about, Tichina, one of the ones that we were talking about, she's a mother, but that's not really her son. And I thought, won't this be funny to make, the real stories of these poor ladies, these mothers, what they suffer, opera mothers, So I have so many things cooking in the back of my head, but that's one of them.
You know who enjoyed himself tonight, who always pops in towards the later part, is Mr. George Burns.
Oh my gosh, no way! George Burns!
There he
I
is.
can't believe I'm sharing the screen with George Burns!
There he is with his cigar and his
How
red pocket
awesome
square.
is that?
He looks like he's ready for a night at the opera, doesn't he?
He does. I can imagine he had some.
Well, you mentioned that you're very faith oriented, and remember he played in the old God movies, so you've got God on your side and George Burns on your side here.
Yes! I can't go wrong.
My aunt collected dolls, one of my mother's sisters, and it got passed down to me. So when he turned 100, she made sure she got the collectible rare George Burns doll, and
I love it.
He pops in. He had a fantastic time. He said you knocked it out of the park. Your voice is exquisite. He loved
Thank you,
it.
George.
And he and Gracie send you their love all the way over to Germany.
Good night, Gracie. No.
You have a terrific laugh, too. You would be great in the front row of a comedy club if the person's bombing. you would get everybody going.
They wouldn't bomb if I was there because I'd just laugh anyway.
It's a very infectious laugh. Have people said that? They've noticed that laugh, haven't they?
People have. I do get comments about it. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. You're the best. Any final words as far as our conversation, the show, anything that's coming up? Because I certainly hope the show met whatever expectations you had and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Tichina.
Well, I absolutely have. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you and laughing with you. I think, the Bible says laughter does good like a medicine. It's really important that we do that as much as we can. But more than that, I'm just getting to know you, and getting to know your public and, receiving all these lovely comments and, just exchanging energy with people. I love it. And I'm so grateful for it. And I thank you for this opportunity.
You're very welcome. And you're now a Lovety, too. They already said you're a Lovety, the viewers,
Yay!
the Loveties. So I always say there's Oscars, Grammys, Tellys, Peabodys, Tonys, Emmys. But how does it feel to get a Lovety on the Jim Master Show Live? Are your feet tingling?
It's the best. It's best. It's better than my Grammy.
It's better than the Grammy.
Yeah.
Anybody walking across, walking in front of the residence there who thinks that the party had ended, an hour ago? No, it's
Right.
inside Tichina's place.
It's still here. It's still here. But
It's
fortunately, I'm on the very top, so yeah. Nobody. I'm
right.
not disturbing anyone when I, stay up
So you
late.
can
Yeah.
reach out and touch God. You're right there.
Right there. I say that sometimes,
Now,
especially like when
wasn't
the
it?
full moon and it's his eye.
Yeah. Now, wasn't it really beautiful when, and you saw it a lot, they did it in New York too, but I know in certain parts of Europe during the pandemic, they opened up the windows and they went on the balconies and they started singing opera
Yeah.
and all kinds of music. And people who were
Yes.
violinists started playing violin, guitarists started doing the guitar,
Yeah.
flautists started
We
doing
had that
flute.
here too.
What did
Yeah.
that happen in that area there
Oh
too?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was beautiful. And sometimes on the street, even just in front of the building or whatever, somebody
Just
would
random
yeah.
music,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It was great. It was really, I have to say, much needed,
Since you're over there in Germany, have you learned the accordion yet?
It's funny. There was just an opera with a ballet with two accordions.
Accordions, right?
Two accordions. Yeah. It's
Incre-
a lovely instrument though. Actually, it's really, really interesting. I wouldn't mind, actually.
I have a friend of mine. She comes from Chicago and she studied accordion, PBS colleague, and she's really, really good at it. It's an amazing sound, if you could really master it. I took violin in school when I was a kid, and
Mm.
that's an interesting one to try to master as well. Jane is in Sweden. She says, "Thank you, Lovety, for being here. Thank you, Jim." So see,
Thank you,
you're a
Jane.
Lovety already.
Yay!
Thanks, Tina, for gracing us with your presence. And
Thank you.
Mike and Dawn say, can't wait to go back and listen to her sing.
Oh, yay!
Absolutely. Mona is in Louisiana, New Orleans. Thanks, Tichina. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming,
Nice to meet
sharing,
you too.
and singing. You've been to New Orleans, right? Probably over the years. Yeah.
Just
Talk about
brief,
jazz,
just like
huh?
as a visitor. Yes.
That's
Yes.
a jazz
Actually,
town.
I did. No, I take that back. I did a master class in New Orleans with Ellis Marsalis.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Who
That's
told me
amazing.
I was a classical singer?
Did he? See? That's it, right?
That was it. The God had spoken.
The God had spoken. That is funny. That is fantastic. That is really, really cool. You're the best. Thanks for coming. We chatted for almost past an hour and a half. It doesn't even
Wow,
feel
is
like
that
it, does
unusual?
it?
No.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes some guests they have a quicker, they got to scoot here and there. It all depends really on the timing that the guest has and everything else. But I know it's late. It's 3:30 in the morning there now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's Saturday. I just have to walk the dog.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're ahead of us. Yeah, it's already Saturday for you. Here it's 9:35 Eastern.
Right.
Do you miss back home? Do you miss America?
Well, I feel like now that I've started freelancing and working there, no, because I get to come. I was there March and April, and I've just been home actually in June, and I'm going to leave next week and go over to Ohio. So, no, I love having the best of both worlds. To be honest, it's very much my speed.
A lot of craziness going over here. You might be better just staying there for now.
People have told me that.
You see the news. It's a little crazy.
But there's a little crazy going on everywhere.
Everywhere. The whole.
I mean, you do know that Poland is like 2 hours from Berlin.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yes, exactly. Right.
So and then you're just 4 more hours to Ukraine. So
you're right there. Right. Yes. You mentioned parts of America that you still would like to visit. What are parts of America you'd like to visit that you haven't done yet?
I have to see. It sounds crazy. Montana.
Yeah. Montana's beautiful.
I
It
have
is
a deep
beautiful.
desire to experience it because I've heard so many wonderful things about the beauty of Montana, and my first voice teacher was from Montana, so I really want to experience that. I've never been. Okay, it's not the United States, but you know, it's the sister. I've never been to Canada. You know,
Canada.
I got to get to Canada. Otherwise, I mean, you know, I've been down Florida, I've been New Orleans, I've been Texas, I've been.
Australia?
Say it again.
Australia?
Australia, I have to go. Yes, I have to sing in Sydney. It's like you can't really call yourself
opera house,
a full
yes.
opera singer if
Without
you
going
didn't
to
get
that opera.
Sydney, you know. You know.
The
But no, I have
Acropolis in
not.
Greece would be nice too, huh?
Oh, I've done that.
You have? You
I've
have
done
done
that
that?
one. Yeah, I
Oh,
did Trovatore there. I did a Trovatore there.
very nice.
Yeah, I've gotten the Far East. I was at Korea, Hong Kong.
That's right.
I've
Yeah.
gotten. I've been to Israel. You know, I've gotten a lot in, but there's still a few. There's still a few.
There's still a few. So you're enjoying it. You're blessed. You're living your bliss. You're living your dream.
I am.
Your kids, are they involved in music at all?
Yes, both of them.
They are.
Actually, my son, he's actually a songwriter for other artists.
Oh, wow.
And one of his artists recently, she had some singles come out. She was voted last year the MTV Germany Best New Artist of the Month last October. And she recently had one of her songs used for an ad campaign for the Germany's Next Top Model winner.
Wow.
Which is a song that my son wrote for her, you know. So I'm very proud of both of them. And my daughter is studying in university, and she wants to study sound design and production.
Oh, that's fantastic. So they have immersed themselves in the musical world and audio world, which is fantastic. That is great, huh?
I thought one might be a veterinarian, but yeah.
There's still time. You never know. They say that these days people change jobs like 15 times. If not, you know, a lot of people don't have that one thing for 35 years and then they get
not
to
anymore.
Watch those
Or
days
else
have
they're
ended.
all at once, you know. It's like entrepreneur, writer, publisher, sound designer, you know. It's like
all of the above.
Things, you know. Dentist.
Great shots here that were taken as well.
That's Jeffrey.
This is Jeffrey's work.
Jeffrey
he really
Hornstein. If you need pictures, go to Jeffrey.
I love that one. He got you going there, huh?
He did, didn't he? Yeah, I tell you, we had a great time at that shoot. Really. And he was just so easy to work with. And, you know, he gave you this real freedom in the energy, you know, to risk it, you know.
Yes, exactly. And all the different looks and all the different expressions, which I think is fantastic. Yeah.
No, it was great. Yeah, he's amazing. I'm going to get some new ones the next time I'm back in New York just because it was so much fun. And you can always use new shots.
So you are back not too long from now, and you're going to be in Ohio, right? Cincinnati?
Mm-hmm. First in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then I'll have a concert right after Beethoven Ninth in Boston with a Landmark Symphony. And yeah, then I'll have to come back and do some stuff in Europe before I end up in September in Salt Lake City, Utah for the Fliegende Halle.
Have you been to Salt Lake before? No. So this will be a first.
I'm having so many amazing new experiences. I'm really, really enjoying it.
That is fantastic. Well, you will have a wonderful time. I'm sure you'll knock them dead. And hopefully we'll meet at some point when you're back here. I was in Stuttgart and I was in Hamburg and we were in other parts of Cologne when we were going from Greece to Amsterdam for a television shoot, 2 television shoots. One was through PBS and I was in Italy, Venice. And then another one was in Greece. And then we went to Germany and then up to Amsterdam and throughout the Netherlands. And it's beautiful, you know. Stuttgart is beautiful. Yeah. And they love their Coca-Cola. It's everywhere.
Well, it's so, you know, it got so Americanized because you know, when I lived there were 3 American installations just in the one city. you know.
'Cause
So we
we were
could
at the
even go grocery shopping and get like, you know, regular American
well,
things.
there,
It was great. Yeah.
'cause every
My daughter's
restaurant
actually born there.
oh, really? Every restaurant we went to, they would always say, you know, like it was exciting. Would you like some Coca-Cola? Like, Coca-Cola? No, we want something German. We want something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
come from the land of Coca-Cola.
Trying to make you feel at home, you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Like it's a fancy treat. Exactly.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
the
yeah.
best. This was really, really a spectacular
Well, it's been great
conversation.
too. So wonderful. Really great. Thank
Oh,
you.
the pleasure is all mine. Thanks for all the time. You know, an hour and 45 minutes we've chatted here, and hopefully people get a good understanding of why you do what you do and the beautiful soul, heart-centric, heartfelt soul you are to do what you do in such a beautiful way to touch all of us through your exquisite artistry and your passion and love for what you do.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Crystal says, thank you so much, Tichina. And Pam
Thank
says,
you, Crystal.
when we see you in more things, we can say, we knew you then, Tichina.
Thank you.
I
That's so
love
sweet.
that.
Yeah.
You're amazing, my friend. Thanks
Fantastic.
for joining us. And Crystal goes, Tichina, you are officially a lovety.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. I'm in the lovely world.
You are in the lovety world. And I think you've been in that world for many years, my friend. Yeah, absolutely. You take care, and thanks for joining us. It was really
Thank you
spectacular.
again. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you anytime.
Absolutely. And I hope it met, again, whatever expectations you had.
I
because-
did.
Yeah. Fantastic. You be well. You take care. And thanks for joining us, my friend. We'll see you again soon, okay?
Okay. You have a great day, a great evening, and thank you again.
You're welcome. Take care now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Isn't she incredible? We're talking to Tichina Vaughn, and she came to us from Dresden in beautiful Germany. And what a trooper, I tell you, to be with us at 3:30 in the morning. That's where the time is right now, where she is. Originally, we thought that she might be here in the States, in New York or North Carolina. And then we realized she's in Germany because, you know, usually you guys know if we have overseas guests, we will do it earlier, maybe like on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. So it would be only like 7 o'clock their time. But she was here and she was raring to go and she was all excited. And we were chatting earlier today and getting things prepped and ready. And we appreciate Jeffrey as well. He's a star in our book as well. And just really, really fantastic and great stories. Terrific music. If you missed this show, if you joined us later, watch it again because there's some epic music, an epic conversation, and lots of laughter thrown in as well, which always seems to happen here on the Jim Master Show Live. We always love to laugh and always have a good time with our viewers and our guests as well. I do want to remind you as well that we've had some amazing guests. Kelly Speck was with us last night, author of Hope and the Heartache. She was talking about what it's like being a parent of a special needs child. It was a beautiful episode last night. The one and only John Davidson was with us just the other night, legendary TV and game show host, singer, songwriter, actor extraordinaire. You know him, of course, from Hollywood Squares. That's incredible and so much more. Tony Orlando, yep, Grammy-nominated gold and platinum-selling music legend and entertainer was with us recently. Melissa Manchester stopped by the Jim Master Show Live. She was epic. Lucy Arnaz was with us recently as well for a phenomenal conversation. Coming up soon, Barbara Brighton, legendary comedian, actress, and singer from Las Vegas, is going to be joining us. She does an amazing Joan Rivers. Tomorrow night, Gary Private, former teen idol, extraordinary renowned drummer, actor, and singer, is going to be with us. We're very excited to have him here. And then on Monday, renowned American poet and lyricist Stephen John Kalinich. You know his music. He has written music for some of the most beloved singers of our time. You will be amazed. The groups, the singers, the people that he has penned music for. That's why they call him an incredible renowned American poet and lyricist, because he really is. And he's all excited. He's going to be with us live on Monday. We're very excited about that right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. And we thank so much our very special guest tonight, live from Dresden, Germany, by way originally of the United States, Tichina Vaughn, acclaimed mezzo-soprano extraordinaire. Again, I know we focused a lot on her operatic background, but she can do it all. Gospel, jazz, pop, I mean, whatever. You throw it at her, she can nail it. And her voice really is unique, and it's very beautiful, powerful, and special. And I know you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. Thanks for all the great comments. And yeah, 3 a.m. for her, Mona. Absolutely. A great night. You are very, very welcome. Pam, thank you as well. And everybody commenting. Jim, it was a joy having Tichina with us tonight. Lovely Hall. She's extremely talented with a gorgeous voice. So happy for all her achievements. Such a superb career. Lovely and fun lady. Yes, she is. And we're so happy that she was with us here exclusively on the Jim Masters Show Live. Gang, you know, we don't say goodbye. We say see you later. We say ciao, shalom, sayonara, hasta la vista, avida zain, slancha, cheers, and all the rest. We'll say take it easy. Don't forget as well, if you enjoyed this episode, we would love it. And it helps us big time to grow and shine when you click the thumbs up button. There's a thumbs up button there on the YouTube channel on this episode. Give us a like and leave a comment for us on the YouTube channel. That really helps us expand our audience and grow even more with your help. When you give us a thumbs up on all the episodes you like, there's a thumbs up icon there on the YouTube channel. Leave a comment as well. If you haven't, we would love it if you subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's no cost for that. That also lets us know you're a part of our lovely family and you really appreciate all the content. Some 700 episodes we've done in just a 2-year time so far. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss any of our amazing episodes and the notifications of the episodes as well. Crystal says, cheers, Lovities. You as well, Crystal. And Mona in New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. Good night, Jim and Lovities. See you tomorrow. Looking great as always. Thank you very much. Christine says, see you all soon. You as well, Christine, who's in North Carolina as well. Good stuff, gang. All right. We love you all. As we always say, be good to one another, take care of one another, love one another, and everybody's welcome to join us here at the Jim Masters Show Live. We're doing an entertainment lifestyle variety talk show series, kind of like the old school traditional TV talk shows, Carson, Cavett, Regis, Merv, Mike, and all the rest, but with a modern vibe and a modern flair of today. And our guests, as we always say, come in from Broadway, Hollywood, television, film, music, stage, culinary arts, sports, comedy, inspiration, life in general, and all levels of celebrity, no celebrity at all. We love to have the wonderful conversations that we have with all of you, because sometimes they run quite deep, and it's really cool. You never know where we take this train, because we don't script questions and we don't have teleprompters, and we just roll with it live. And I think that's really cool, because beautiful nuggets and gems happen that way. And it's cool stuff. Gang, we're going to scoot out. We appreciate all the time, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show right here for you. Always something special for you when you tune into our show. You guys be well. Appreciate you being here. And everybody watching around the world, again, love one another and take care of one another, and take care of yourself. Take time for yourself too. It's very important to do that. You be well, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.